Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
I believe that I've become a better human being once I started acting, once I started taking it seriously, because that's when I actually started thinking for others. I mean, it was new to meet a girl who wasn't excited about Fahadh Faasil, you know. She wasn't excited about, and that was very new to me. Why isn't she excited about me, you know? I had to sort of do things to get her attention, you know. Today morning when we woke up, there was no milk in my house. So my wife said, "You want tea? Go down and get milk." So I went out and got milk. So, you know, it's just about how, I think I still believe I'm from a very middle class upbringing.
Fahad, welcome to Chat Masala. Baradwaj and I are just delighted to have you here.
Thank you.
I have to begin by asking you, why are you so elusive? It's taken us 8 months to get you to say yes.
So basically it's about, I feel very incomplete about my films, and I don't know when it's the right time to talk about it. I usually try and talk about it after a year, when I've actually realized what I actually tried and what I achieved. So I'm a bit, yeah, I mean, that's the reason. I feel it's not yet time for me to talk about my films yet.
I actually asked him, where I wanted to chat with him about Trance, and I sent you an email, and then you mailed me back saying that it's not the time to talk about it.
So basically, when you work, so you have a script, but at a point, you know, you decide to go out of it, or you try to improvise, and then you start thinking, was it right? No, this wasn't what we actually started filming. So I keep going through that cycle, you know, almost with all my films. So yeah, before the release, that's why I'm, absent from my promotions.
And after release, you're absent too, because you don't want to talk about
it. After I'm figuring it out. Did I get it right?
So there's no time for journalists to get in there.
No, then I move on to the next one, and I get into the same cycle.
Okay, so let's talk about the next one. You just shot See You Soon with Mahesh Narayan. And you said that that's not a feature film. It's like a random experiment. What can you tell us about it?
See, so Mahesh is someone I met 10 years back when I moved to Cochin. And so he was one person I constantly interacted with, you know, right from right after Chapa Kurish and all that. So when Mahesh and I eventually decided to take off, we knew that Take Off wasn't the first film that we wanted to do, but I had to be there for him. And that's how Take Off happened. And then Malik happened, and, you know, and then we decided to do an even bigger film. And then the lockdown happened. So Mahesh is someone who doesn't stop thinking. And he's someone who told me, I think you should learn editing. You know, he's always, you know, he keeps telling me, a performer with a craft, that's rare. Try it, you know. So initially we started talking about editing, and you know, I started discussing about his films, you know, what he was thinking when he edited, you know, Traffic or, you know, any of his films. And then he came up with an idea. He told me that you know, actually we can actually redesign a film on the table, on the editing table. We can capture it, but we can actually redesign it. You know, I need 3 actors, but 3 actors need not be together. You know, it's happening over the phone and, you know, over video chats and all that. So I thought it was crazy, you know. I mean, so I did a test shoot for him for a day. You know, I just wanted to see how that is, and I did a test shoot. Then I told him to capture the portions with the other actors. Then he went and shot with Roshan, Matthew, and Darshana. And he came back with a rough edit, and he showed me that. And I just wanted to be a part of that film, you know. I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the theatrical or money or anything. Just shoot it. And our biggest crisis, it's going to be a 95 minutes film. So I don't know if they'll put it in the feature film slot. But yeah, we are sort of getting ready with it, and we'll decide once it's ready.
How exciting!
Yeah, it sounds great, actually. Well, Now, when Irrfan Khan passed away, Fahad, you wrote a very moving note about how he influenced you. And I'm going to read out a bit of that note. You said, I owe my career to him. I don't think I would have ever come this far if I had not picked up that DVD and watched an actor who changed my life. What was that DVD and what was the time in your life that you saw that, and how did it help your acting?
Okay, so this is a film directed by Mr. Nasruddin Shah. It's called You Hota To Kyun Hota. Yeah. So, I think I saw it in 2005 or something. I mean, this was my third year in America. So what first I thought about it was, he didn't look like an actor in the first place. You know, that was the first time I ever saw him on screen. He didn't look like an actor to me. And, you know, then I realized that he's done like 20 or 25 films or something like that. But he didn't look like an actor to me, but I couldn't stop looking at him. Even when other actors came on screen, I just couldn't take my eyes off him. He looked so graceful. So, you know, everything was just, I kept looking at his feet to see if his legs were on the floor, you know. I thought he was sort of floating kind of a thing. And that I mean, no one has ever made that kind of an impression on me. I mean, that was very honest, I thought, the way he was performing. Then I started watching his films, and yeah, I mean, then he just started growing in me.
So when you started your rebooted career, at what point did you say that, or did you feel that you were actually becoming the kind of, you know, okay, yes, I can feel this. I know I can do this. I can, you know, because you were doing these small roles in Cocktail and like a fair kind of thing. But then, you know, at what point did you feel that, you know what, yes, I can do this?
I still don't feel that, actually. I don't know. See, for me, you know, I'm just as good as my other actors, my other co-actors. So I don't believe I can do this alone, or the entire thing happens alone. I think it's a complete interaction of everyone on the sets, not just the actors or the technicians, but even the guy who wakes me up with a cup of tea. So for me, it's absolutely a trial and error process. You know, that's why I say that I'm never done or I feel incomplete. So it's purely trial and error. So I don't know if, you know, I still want to do that one film I want to do. So once I've done that, I may be able to say, you know, okay, but I don't think I've still achieved that.
You've often talked in the few interviews that you've given, you say that you don't prep. You know, that you don't sort of like go into some massive deep prep for a role. You like to approach it, you know, without prep. So what is the Fahadh Faasil process? Is it pure spontaneity or is there a conscious craft there?
No. See, I believe that I have no sense of music. I have no sense of filmmaking. You know, I have no sense of other crafts that's involved in cinema. So I am always at the liberty to say, why don't you try this way? So it's like because I don't know it, I can say anything. You know, and that gets my team working, or, you know, I think that excites my director. I've noticed that. You know, every time I've said something, you know, which actually sounds weird to others, my directors have got excited. Especially Dileesh. You know, Dileesh has that, you know, you go sit next to him, he's explaining a scene, and suddenly out of the box you tell him something, he'll pick on that. You know, he'll pick on that, and he'll, you know, make you work on it. And so I think my prep is actually to what I, you know, constantly do is I interact with my writer and my director and my DOP on the sets. And, you know, for me the filming process is very I never finish my films on schedule, because the filming process actually takes a lot of time. You know, that's where the trial and error thing is. It's not even post shoot. Post shoot and all is like cakewalk, you know, because we wait most of the time. We're very clear, but while capturing, that is the most challenging process for me. So I think the prep I do is I keep interacting. I never stop questioning, I guess. Most of the time
So you're creating as you go along. You don't sort of come into a set with prior ideas about what this character should be.
I might have a one line. You know, we might have, see, most of the time we have a climax. Okay. You know, we know this is how we want to conclude, or this is how the conclusion should be. And that changes. That changes like 5 days into shoot. You know? So I think the drive to shoot is to achieve what we actually thought. Initially, the the fire that we had for a idea. So the initial shoot days is to actually get that, to capture that. And once we capture that, that's when things start growing, I mean, let's go like this, let's go like that, so it's interesting. It's difficult, but it's very interesting. I love it.
Fahad, Anjali told us one thing that you used in Bangalore Days. She said that the very first meeting that you had with her, she described Das, the character, as a noble warrior. And then she said, you guys didn't meet for a long time. And then when you came on the set, the way you carried yourself, she felt like you remembered that one description of that character and kind of used that phrase, noble warrior, to emote. And she said that after the film, a lot of people came up to me and said, Das looked so noble, that character was so noble. And she didn't even she was like, do specific phrases like that, help you hold on to things?
Yes, very much. See, like when you work with Anjali, the least I think you can do is to be just there, just be there, keep listening. There's so much definitions in the way she actually executes a scene. So for me, when she narrated Bangalore Days to me, the rest of the cast were not finalized. Only my character was actually finalized. So eventually she ended up casting all my good friends. Dulkar and Niven and Nazriya, who I eventually married, So that was very difficult for me. She told me you need to be cut. She wouldn't let me have dinner with them. She wouldn't let me go out with them. She said, just cut off. Just cut off. Just stay out of it. So I mean, some filmmakers, they groom you even without you knowing, and I've been very fortunate that way. I've been interacting with a lot of filmmakers who actually prepares you for a lot of things and you're not very aware of it, but you sort of get there.
So that phrase kind of unlocks something in you when you are looking at the character or reading the script. Exactly,
yes. Thondimuthalum, the only thing I knew about the character was that the line he tells he tells that Kaliyakula Sare, which means don't make fun of the kid. Basically kids who are around 13, 14, they are hungry. So that's the only thing I knew about the character when I went to shoot or started shooting it. But that stayed, that one line stayed. So I actually worked on that character with that line. So sometimes it helps,
So when in Thondimuthalum, that interval point where till then you're saying, I haven't taken the necklace, but then the doctor puts up the X-ray, and then you see the outline of the necklace, and then at that point, what you see in your character is not guilt, it's not you just give this smile like a little kid whose hand is in the cookie jar. That again, is it like a Dileesh thing? Is that a Fahad thing? Is that, how does that?
I think it's a Dileesh and Rajiv Ravi thing. I think, right before the shot, because right from the beginning, I knew that I took the chain. So as an actor, I had a lot of limitations. I mean, for that particular moment, the moment I'm caught, I went and asked Rajiv and Dileesh, what should I do? And Dileesh said, just smile, man. Just smile. It's enough, So, I mean, yeah. So if you notice, that shot is actually out of focus. We tried a shot after that. Dileesh said, no, let's keep the shot which is out of focus. So, like, I believe it happened. It's very organic and it happens, I guess.
There's some alchemy on the sets, right?
Yeah. See, I'm very honest about it. I've never walked into a set prepared, and the moment I have to go prepared, I think I'll collapse there. So when I work in Tamil and all that, my biggest, when I talk to Kumar, I keep telling him my biggest problem is that because I don't think in Tamil, it's very difficult. I go there and I tell him in English and I speak to him in Tamil English and then translate it to my language, then by heart the line. So for me, that process is actually, I don't know, that's I'm not a fan of that process. I want to do a Tamil and Hindi film where I speak Malayalam.
But is it true that when you were doing Takeoff with Parvathy, you asked her how her character signature would be? Like, how would she sign her own name? And so explain, how does a detail like that affect what you're doing?
There's another thing also. My portions were shot a month before Parvathy joined the sets, actually. So, and most of our sequences, it was on phone calls. So, my first day of shoot was a conversation with Parvathy. And so basically I called her up and asked where she was. And she was with her friends and all that. So I said, will you read out the scenes to me? And she read it out, she read it like, just like that. And I emoted and we got the shot. Eventually, when I saw the film, she did it just the way she read it to me. There was no marking. There was no change in the way she actually read it to me. So what fascinated me was, once I think after she read the script, she was with it. She was there. She started thinking like Sameera. She started talking like Sameera. And we were on the sets. We were doing our combination, and I wasn't getting it right. I thought, maybe I should change the way I play it. And I started talking to her and all that. So she was fiddling with a pen, and she was scribbling something on the paper there. I said, just sign Sameera. And the way she signed it was very vulnerable, actually. She didn't look. I mean, the signature didn't look like the person who had come in search of a husband. I don't know, something about it looked very vulnerable to me, and that's where I picked it. I mean, if you see the scene entirely, if you play out the scene entirely, this guy actually felt very emotionally. I mean, he felt sorry for her. The ambassador, and that's where he picked it up. These are very small things that actually I don't think anyone notices it. I mean, Takeoff released like 4 years back. This is the first time someone was asking me that. So most of the time, no one notices anything. So when my wife watches any of my films, so I keep asking, did you notice that? I given this look. Did you notice that? So most of the time, it comes across as, I feel that people don't notice a lot of things that I do, and things that I don't do, they notice it a lot, So,
do you agree with our whole thesis about the Fahad's eye acting? We've written a long on Film Companion. We wrote a long, So, do you agree with our thesis about your eyes and how you act with your eyes?
I love that write-up, and something I want to during Trance, I had seen the character Pastor as a person who wears he wears sunglasses even while he's performing on stage. I didn't want his eyes to be seen, and the first day I walked in, to the sets, and I wanted to, I walked into the costume and all that, and I wore that, and Anwar is sitting there and said, no, take that out. No, I don't, you can do whatever you want with your costumes or whatsoever, but this much, just leave that,
We need to see the eyes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just happening, I guess. I don't know.
Well, speaking of Trance, that's a very physically intense role. Like there's so much of physicality involved in that role. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have something like Njan Prakashan, which seemingly doesn't, at least for the viewer, it seems like it's a more cool or casual kind of role. But as an actor, are both the same, or is one actually easier than the other?
I personally think it's the same. It's the same. I think the intensity of it is the same. The way you approach it is the same. To a great extent, even the energy level is the same. I see. I mean, I don't see a difference. Okay. I am performing, and I'm very, very much aware of that. And I know at points, I know it's stressful, and you feel that. So for me, it's all the same.
So basically, the point is that you're entering somebody else's psyche, and staying there is the difficult part.
Trying to, I guess. I mean, I may sound a bit, but yeah, the idea is to at least think like someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, that is stressful.
And do you stay that way through the shoot? I mean, do you carry that home sometimes?
At times, I guess, but evidently, no. I usually drive to work and drive back because I want to be in the, I want to leave that back in the, workspace. And so not really, no. Okay, no.
But is it true that you take about 2 days to get into character? So you usually tell your directors to get rid of the first 2 days and reshoot? Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My first 2 days is actually exercise. So it's I never get it right, So I request them, you can just plan it this way. And eventually, all my films, we've eventually gone back and shot the first 2 days. Kumbalangi Nights, the first thing we shot was my introduction. Me standing in front of the mirror and third day into shoot, we realized that no, that's not going to work. We'll have to shoot it. Then we shot the entire film and went back and shot that intro scene.
But while you're doing it, you know that it's not right, that it's not sitting, it's not landing.
Usually, I'd like to sleep over it and then see it another day and then take a call. I'd like to move on to other scenes and then go back and see it. While I do it, I don't try to think whether it's right or wrong. While I'm shooting, I'll just do what's right. And post that. I make sure to see my edits once in 2 days, and that's right.
Fahad, when Anjali spoke about Bangalore Days, she spoke about the scene where you and Nazriya have a fight. Your characters have a fight, and she said that was a single camera setup. And first she shot your portions, and then she shot Nazriya's portions. And she said that when she was shooting Nazriya's portions, you enacted your scenes with the same intensity that you did your portions. Do you feel that like you said earlier, that even with your acting, let's say, that unless the co-star is giving 100%, even if they're not seen, that your performance is not going to come out as well as it's going to?
See, I think, like I said, during takeoff, my interaction with Parvathy, I think it's, this is what I try. When I can't get something right, I try to get it right for the others. So automatically I fall in place. This is what I do. So it's very simple when you look at it. You try cracking it a lot, and at a point you realize that you can't crack it, and then you let others crack it for you. And the only way to do that is actually collaborating. So for me, like I said, I'm just as good as my co-actor, and I don't want to be better than my co-actor. I just want to be as good as them.
What if it's a role like Trance where you are alone a lot?
I don't think the guy is alone. I don't think the character in Trance was not alone. So there was a lot of conflicts within him.
Right.
So when it's complicated, you are actually interacting with another person within you. So you actually have someone to interact with. So that helped in Trance, actually.
But what?
Am I making sense?
Yes.
Please, we want all your theories about acting. So please.
Yeah. We want you to sort of, tell us.
No, my wife particularly warned me. Make some sense. Please make some sense.
I love that. I think that's such a fabulous thing to say. Make some sense. It's exactly what I would tell my husband. Make some sense. But you also spoke somewhere about how when films don't work, you go into a dark space, and you said it's scary. And right now you're talking about getting into somebody else's mind as stressful. Is acting like something that is stressful for you, or do you find complete joy in it? How do you deal with it, and how do you deal with it when a film doesn't perform?
Okay, so first I'll talk about acting. What I like about acting is I believe that I've become a better human being once I started acting, once I started taking it seriously, because that's when I actually started thinking for others. I honestly believe that I've become a better human being. Being the actor I am, or the way I am performing, or the way I'm approaching work. About films not working, so I think it's, like I said, when a film goes wrong, what actually goes wrong is your thought process. What you've been thinking for the last 3 years or 2 years. So you can be wrong about anything, but to be wrong about your thoughts, that's, I find it, it's very difficult for me to accept it. So I actually get into a defensive mode, and I try to explain, no, this is what I tried, so yeah.
Further, when you say a film, sorry, just cut you off, but I just need to know, when you say a film going wrong, are you talking about going wrong according to your calculations or going wrong at the box office?
Both, actually. Both. Only my, if you look at my films that's gone wrong in the box office, those are films only, I mean, it didn't go wrong for no reason. There was something wrong about it. So for me, I've completely related these two aspects of my films failing in theaters. It's only because I was wrong, the film went wrong. I usually accept that. So I get into that mode, and I'm very defensive, and that phase usually is very difficult for me. I take time to come out of that phase, and yeah, once I come out of it, I try to.
How long does it usually last?
Till I move on with another thing. I need to be excited about something else. So yeah.
Kumararaja told us that you knew basically 3 Tamil words. One is medu vada, one is dosa, and irithal, which is short for irithal, which is what you used to call him. And he was completely amazed by the fact that you dubbed for the film yourself, and with all the emotions intact. And when he spoke to me, it was like he'd sighted a UFO or something like that. So it's just like what happens there? How do you do that? It's like the language that you don't know, you're dubbing yourself.
I think I have to give it to Kumar, because see, I was very skeptical. I wanted to do a film with Kumar, but I wanted it to be in Malayalam, to be very honest. I actually went to Kumar 5 years back, even before he started thinking about Super Deluxe, and I said, let's do a film in Malayalam. And I got him all the way to Cochin, and he said, no much aseta. And he left back to Chennai. Then he called me for Super Deluxe, and I met him. And so, like I said, I was very skeptical about, I can't think in this language. And if you do it with a person who speaks and thinks in Tamil, you can work wonders with that character again. So I kept pushing him to do it with another actor who can speak and understand them. So he was adamant. He said, no, you try. It's language, man. It's just language. Just try. So one thing I realized while I was shooting for that film is that I started talking in Tamil. I started interacting with people in Tamil, and then so if I spend time there, I'll get used to the language. That's what I've realized about Tamil. And also my father, he's made films in Tamil and all that. Right. So yeah. And to think about it, it's actually a very beautiful language. So by heart, it's very easy. It's very easy to. It's like a song. It's like learning a song. So it was easy to by heart the lines in Tamil.
Speaking of Kumararaja, he asked us to ask you, how does he get you to be in his next film? So obviously, Fahad, everybody wants to work with you. How do you decide what's your next project?
No, I am in Kumar's next film. That goes without saying. That's default,
He hasn't written his next film.
No, but I'll be there. I'll be there for sure. So my dad, when I decided to come back to films, so this was after a 8-year break or something. So my dad, so I went and told him, so when my dad actually called me to act in 2002, I wasn't ready for it. So I said, I'm not ready for it. But the entire world said, no, you have to do it. You have to do it. And 10 years later, when I came back and said, I want to do it, the entire world said, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You tried it, and So my dad's the only one, actually. My mom too. My dad was very supportive. He said, what you can do is make your directors fall in love with you. That's the easiest thing to do. So if you keep making your directors fall in love with you, you'll never run out of content. So that's what you should do.
That's a great strategy. It's perfect.
Yeah, I know. I've never heard of this before. It's amazing.
Actually, Ranbir Kapoor had said this to me. That you have to, you have to fall in love with your directors and get your directors to fall in love with you. That's how it works.
True. See, if you look at it, with the directors who I've worked with, with Dilesh or Anwar or Amal or anyone for that matter, Mahesh, we talk about other things than film. So I mean, so it's very transparent. We're very sure. I'm very sure about what he's actually seeing, or he's very sure about what I can do. So I think that transparency is very important for the actor-director relation, I guess.
You just spoke a little earlier, Fahad, about the fact that acting has made you a better human being. Is there anything that you take away from characters as a person after playing that character that kind of stay with you at a very private level?
Sometimes you feel for the character at some point. I mean, this is completely, my connection with the character is what I've read about him or what I've, performed about him. So I believe that I would have formed emotional bonding with him. So yes, at times I have that. I think for them. I remember myself coming back home or going back and talking to my friends about. There was a guy like this who thought about it. Who actually did this, and this is what he did, and So I think that stays with me for a while. I think So yeah, I've never played a real life character in my life, so I don't know. So I'll have to see how that would be.
So which role took the most out of you?
All the roles.
Really?
All the roles. Yeah.
Nothing is easy.
All the roles. No. The easiest is to read the reviews. No. It's the way I work. People close to me keeps telling me that you have to do this for a long time, so you have to take it slow, or you have to be very clear. You're doing only so many things at a time. But the fact is that it's just amazing to get people to react to emotions or smile at you. Or I think that entire thing is very exciting.
Yeah.
And I discovered this much late in my life. I was not trained. I was not trained to be an actor or anything. And I'm a person who actually tasted success much too late in my career. So once I started tasting it, I think the entire connection was very beautiful. So for me, it's very important to actually feel for the character or the story that I'm actually playing. I need to believe that this is something that could happen or that's happened, or I need to have that connect to a story or plot.
Father, you said about success came late to you in life. So your father launches you, things don't work out, you take a long break, and then you come back. That was almost like an 8-year break. What was your mind frame at that time? What was it like? What were you feeling at that point? Were you undecided about acting? Were you like, how do I do this the right way? Were you gearing up yourself up towards that? What were you feeling at that point?
So after my first film flopped and didn't do well, and I decided to go to US. So there was a conversation I had with my dad, and I said, so my dad actually introduced Mohanlal. So so when I spoke to him, he told me that, see, you have a rhythm, you have an acting rhythm, and I know that. So if you are thinking of actually taking up acting, I think you should do it in a way that it's happening from your stomach, not from your brain. So that was a very interesting advice. Actually, I mean, it's about how you see things, how you want to see things. I mean, when he said, think from your head and do it from your stomach, it's basically two perspectives. So I think, I mean, that's what I try to do. I mean, you actually want to feel within the character and then emote.
But that was is that what you spent those 8 years trying to?
No. I tried to do engineering. I tried to do engineering for 3.5 years. There's too much calculations and too much of measurements and all that, and I knew that this is not what I wanted to do. So I called up home and I said, okay, I can't do this. And so my mother was worried. What, you've gone all the way to America, and what do people think if you come back with a degree? We stay there now. So I sort of shifted my major to philosophy. And what happened was, because I changed my majors, they took off my financial aid. Then it got too complicated and I just came back. So I just have like 2 semesters left. I can still go back and compete with, I mean.
But Fahad, what did that first bout of failure, what did that teach you for your second round at acting?
When you are a successful director's son or an actor's son, I've had this conversation with Dulquer also. So when you have a background like this and when you do your first film, people expect you to walk in as an actor. They don't let you come in and then evolve. They expected me to be an actor. They expected the man who launched Mr. Mohanlal's find to be. People expected him to be, he should dance, he should know horse riding, I should fight, and people expected all that.
You were only 19.
I was 19. No, I turned 19 during the shoot actually. Yeah, but I to be honest, if that film didn't work, I mean, if that film worked, I don't think I would have come this far. I would have been a star for like 10 years, and then I don't know what would have happened. Because the film didn't work, I'm here at least trying to be an actor. So I mean, yeah, there's a huge difference. Yeah.
Okay, Fahad, I have to ask you. I love the fact that Nazriya was the one who proposed to you during Bangalore Days.
Yeah, there's another side to it also. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I want to hear that story. Please tell us that story.
No, so when I met Nazriya, see, it didn't feel like, for me at that point, for me it was new to meet a girl who wasn't excited about Fahadh Faasil, She wasn't excited about, and that was very new to me. Why isn't she excited about me? That was like so new to me.
Because until then, all women you met were excited about you.
I guess, I don't know. Yes, yeah. With Nazriya, I had to like sort of, this is hard, I'm standing in front of you, and, I had to make that evident, I had to like, I had to sort of do things to get her attention, and I think I fell in love with that. I would walk into sets, and the first thing I wanted to see was, is she looking at me, is she waving to me, it was, so I took the initiative. I took the initiative, and she asked me out because she was very sure that I didn't have the guts to ask her. And that's the 2 good things I did after coming to cinema. One is getting married to an actress and starting a production house. Yeah.
Okay, but what are the rules of engagement when you work with your spouse? She was in Trance with you. Yeah. Are there sort of lines you draw that this is work, this is home?
See, now Nazriya is very much a part of my interactions, in any film I do, she's there.
Exactly.
In fact, she talks to the lead and Sham more than me, and, because we interact like that, I honestly didn't feel the difference of actually shooting with her again. She's always there around, and she also doesn't make you believe that she's performing, She'll be sitting next to you and she's just interacting, and, so that's it's also very, she doesn't make you feel that she's actually performing or acting or anything. She just makes you behave, and yeah.
But what happens when there's a creative disagreement between husband and wife?
I'm a very good husband, so I let it have her way, and I keep quiet.
Smart man. But outside of Kerala, you're seen as the sort of poster boy for the new age Malayalam cinema. A cinema that's experimenting, that's sort of telling these incredible, lovely stories. And I really believe that it is the best mainstream cinema in the country. You've talked very often about how committed you are to Kerala, to the Malayalam market. So do you have any interest in kind of a pan-India market? Now that you've gone to Tamil, could we interest you in Hindi perhaps?
No, for me, the fact that my Malayalam films are watched in Bombay, and like, I mean, when I get these messages and beautiful calls from, people in the same industry, that itself is a big thing for me. I mean, I believe that I don't think I could have done a 22FK in any other language than Malayalam. I don't think I could have done a Thondimuthalum. And if you look at it, none of my films actually get remade to any of the languages. So they're very rooted. They are here. I mean, I think my cinema is here. But like I said, I mean, I'd love to interact with Meghna Gulzar and Zoya, Akhtar. I mean, there are so many brilliant people. I mean, I'd love to. That's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, there's so many films that you watch, and I mean, if you ask me, Piku is like the best Indian film I've seen in the last 10 years. I've absolutely enjoyed it. Absolutely, all the performances, the way it's made. So I'd love to interact with the talents there as well. So I mean, language.
What does interact mean? If Zoya or Shoojit came to you with a film, would you consider it?
Yeah, I mean, the language is the problem. So I mean,
but you're doing Tamil.
Yeah, like I said,
knowing only Medu Vada in the language,
Medu Vada and Nirtal.
Yes.
No, I mean, I would love to meet. In fact, I was very close to, I kept interacting with Vishal sir. So, he had actually sent me a script. It's so beautiful. I hope he still makes it, It's such a beautiful script. Even when I texted him last time, I said, "Sir, please make it," So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to do something there. So let's see. I don't know.
I hope we can bring you to Mumbai. You're already in Chennai, so Baddy is settled.
No, but I want him for another movie here. So that's kind of yeah. Hopefully with your Irrfan. So that's just like
Irrfan, I have to get him to do something. Can you believe that? So I'm one of the few people who've seen Kumar's first film in theaters.
Yeah.
And that I've told him also. I know. See, I saw the film, and that was during the edit of Chapa Gurish. Chapa Gurish was the first digital film to be made in Kerala 10 years back. So when we were shooting the film, there were people from theaters and all. They used to come and hang around the sets, and they say they're not using lights. I don't think it's going to work. They would spread the news that the film is not going to work. It's going to be dark and all that. So that's when I watched Aranya Kandam, and I said, "You don't need lights and all, man. You don't need to see anything on screen. Just make them feel the film. That's all." So so Kumar is a dream. I primarily did a film in Tamil is to work with Kumar. Because I knew that I cannot make a film with him in Malayalam. I can never convince him to do that. So might as well go to Chennai and do.
Did he make you do 200 takes?
No, that's average. With me, I think we've gone like 500, 550 types, And what's exciting is I know that I've done around 63, 65 takes for him. Next day he'll come and he says, the 17th take, that look was perfect. But the 12th take, I like the rendering. The delivery was better than the 12th take. But as a whole, I like the 35th take. I'm very fortunate to have actually, worked with such great talents. Like, even Dinesh is, as crazy as this. Mahesh, So there's so much to learn from these guys that, you never want to stop working with them.
But as you become a bigger and bigger star, how do you keep ego in check? How do you sort of disassociate from the peripheries of that stardom?
Today morning when we woke up, there was no milk in my house. So my wife said, "You want tea? Go down and get milk." So I went out and got milk. So, it's just about how, I think I still believe I'm from a very middle class upbringing, and that's the life I have.
But when you go out to get milk, you don't cause like a slight tremor in...
No. No one even notices me. I just
you wear a cap and like glasses.
Nothing.
Like a fake beard and that.
No.
Okay. Nothing. You mean to say...
I don't think any actor in Kerala has a problem other than Mr. Mammootty and Mohanlal. I mean, I was with Dulquer a few days back. Dulquer and Prithvi, we had lunch together. And, we have pretty much very, sort of normal, happy life there.
No, you mean to say you can go out to a grocery store like just like that and...
See, I'm not saying that I can do this without getting attention, but I do that.
Okay.
I do that.
So I think you just proved that Kerala is true.
So when I initially when I came to Chennai to start shooting and all that, so I would go out of my hotel to buy cigarettes and all that, and they'd say, Nazriya, Nazriya. That's the only thing I would hear, Yeah, so it doesn't matter, man. As long as they enjoy me on screen, it doesn't matter, whether they acknowledge me in my, in real life. I just want them to think about me while they're watching my film.
Awesome.
That's great. Fahad, before we let you go, one last question. What do you think is key to being a really good actor? Like, if you had to give one piece of advice to all the people out there who want to be, in the same league as you, what is the key to that?
It's very easy to be in the same league as me. I just, if you're looking at someone who wants to be a good actor, I think what he needs to be is to be very honest. He needs to be brutally honest to realities. It doesn't mean that he should be talking the truth or he should be, spreading good messages around or anything like that. He should be honest about reality. He should actually know what's happening. Yeah. He should accept it.
Baddy, any last questions?
No, I'm just glad I finally got.
So did I make sense? I mean, you can cut off whatever you want. I've not done this anymore.
Fahad, I'm not going to get you for the next 5 years, so I'm going to keep everything.
No, we're not cutting anything.
Nobody's cutting anything right now. So, but Fahad,
there was a point I got excited and I said too many things. So if you want to omit anything, please.
Don't.
No. But Fahad, seriously, great to finally interact with you. So
absolutely. I didn't know this would be so easy. If it was, I would have done this more often.
Okay, so now you know it's easy. Now you know it's easy.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Hold you to it.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not going to be 5 years, Baddy. We will be back.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Fahad. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Fahadh Faasil. If you like this video, please subscribe.